What's up, Taiwan? Good morning. I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan has been closely watching the conflict unfold in Ukraine with an aggressive and powerful authoritarian neighbor of its own. Many parallels are being made with the situation in Eastern Europe. China claims Taiwan is part of its own territory and has not ruled out taking the country by force. Divya Gopalan spoke to Foreign Minister Joseph Wu to find out how Russia's invasion of Ukraine is reshaping Taiwan's foreign policy.
Find that the people here in Taiwan are more determined to defend the country than ever. So this is something not just the government of Taiwan has learned, it's also the regular people here in Taiwan that has learned. And the second thing is whether the like-minded countries, the democracies, can unite together to deter or to defeat authoritarianism. And what we find is that democracies are more united than ever.
Taiwan's Moscow office was the conduit to some of the other European or Eastern European countries which didn't have an office, including Ukraine. What happens to that now that Taiwan is on the list of Russia's unfriendly countries?
Our office in Moscow still operates, even though it's not a big office, but that office has been functioning rather well. For example, when the crisis started in February this year, we encouraged our citizens in Ukraine to leave the country. And it's our office in Moscow provided the kinds of contact and liaison effort, and then provided assistance for them to be able to leave Ukraine. And they've done a very effective job in having our citizens all leave Ukraine, except for one. So our office there has been carrying a very important mission for us. It's not just serving as a liaison in between Taiwan government and the Russian government, but it's also a very important organization to make sure our citizens in that area stays protected by the Taiwanese government. And I'm sure it will continue to operate in Moscow.
Security analysts say it'll be about 5 years, given China's development of its weapons, particularly its amphibious weaponry. 5 years before China makes a move, far more aggressive move, even invades Taiwan. Is that the same timeline the Taiwan government is working with?
We don't work with that kind of timeline. There are many analyses by the Western military experts or government officials or Indo-PACOM officials. They are looking at different time periods where China may launch attack against Taiwan. But the way we look at it is that what China has been doing is very obvious already. And what they say is very obvious already, that they have the ambition to take Taiwan over by military force if necessary. So we need to watch out at any moment that China may launch an attack against Taiwan. They may come next year, they may come 3 years afterward, or they may come in 5 years. But no matter when China is going to attack Taiwan, what we need to make sure is that Taiwan is ready. Taiwan is ready to defend itself. And this is the reason why we want to procure defensive articles from the United States constantly, so that Taiwan is able to defend itself.
You've always emphasized that peace and stability is the goal. Now, as Taiwan's top diplomat, you're the foreign minister, what kind of engagements or conversations are you having with China to ensure Taiwan's security?
The Chinese government don't want to talk to us. They just want to threaten us. So they sealed virtually all channels of communication. And that makes the Taiwan Strait situation more threatening or more unstable than before. And it's not just between Taiwan and the United States. I think major democracies in the world are having difficulties in speaking to the Chinese government in a meaningful way on how to maintain peace and stability over the Taiwan Strait. The fact is that China has become more authoritarian than ever. And all the power is centered in one person. And when that person is not willing to dedicate his power to his bureaucracies, it is very difficult for other countries to have meaningful dialogues with China.
Taiwan is tweaking its COVID-19 policies to keep up with the spike in cases. Taipei City is no longer publishing the list of places visited by people who test positive for COVID. The city also has new quarantine rules. People will only need to isolate if they came in close contact with someone who tested positive, like someone you live with, a coworker who sits near you, a student in your class, or someone you've dined with. New nationwide rules allow asymptomatic patients and people with mild symptoms to recover at home. That's to ease the burden on hospitals. Eric Gao has the details.
Previously almost COVID-free, Taiwan has seen record numbers of domestic cases for days in a row. To conserve medical resources, the government has decided to allow patients with mild or no symptoms to isolate at home. Almost half of the country's 22 cities and counties are now going by the new rules.
要求在还没有启动的在1周里面要来启动，在各县市都要启动，COVID-19 确诊个案居家照护的管理。
1,800 pharmacies nationwide will deliver medication to isolating patients, with orders placed through the EO Care app.
要是送药到指定的地方，要拍照，然后电话联络当事者，指导他怎么用药，也可以用视讯。
Tuesday saw the death of a 2-year-old from COVID, the country's first child victim of the pandemic. The boy's parents claim bureaucratic delays to his hospitalization may have been a factor in his death. This has sparked a rethink of how children are treated for the disease. Over the weekend, Taiwan's Food and Drug Administration authorized emergency use of the Moderna vaccine for children aged 6 through 11, but it is still unknown when these doses will arrive. Chris Ma and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
Taipei's annual Labor Day parade is being scrapped in favor of a protest in front of the presidential office building. That's in light of a spike in COVID cases. Organizers are expecting about 1,000 workers to participate. They are hoping that a fixed location will help cut down the risk of transmission. The rally will take place on International Labor Day, May 1st. Labor groups will call on the government to combat inflation, raise the minimum wage, and improve measures to ensure workplace safety. They say that while Taiwan's economy grew nearly 6.3% last year, the pandemic had nevertheless hurt workers financially. The Taiwan Railway Labor Union says it's considering strikes on major public holidays throughout the year. It follows an announcement that 90% of members will strike on Labor Day on May 1st in protest of a government plan to turn the Taiwan Railways administration into the state-run corporation. Transportation Minister Wang Guocai says the move will make Taiwan's rail network safer, but the union says it could lead to cuts to workers' benefits. They're asking to be included in negotiations and for promises that there will be no changes to working conditions. Taiwan has reduced prison sentence for growing marijuana or cannabis for personal use. Though marijuana use remains illegal in the country, the minimum sentence for growing the drug for personal use has been reduced from 5 years to 1. People caught growing cannabis with intent to supply still face a minimum sentence of 5 years. The move is seen as a recognition that previous penalties for marijuana offenses were disproportionate. For the first time in over a decade, Netflix has reported a loss in its subscribers. The online streaming platform says around 200,000 members canceled their subscription in the first 3 months of the year. Netflix raised the prices for US and UK consumers earlier this year and pulled out of Russia in response to the war in Ukraine. The service says it plans to offer a cheaper subscription that contains some advertising as it seeks to win viewers back. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we'll leave you with pictures of animals going wild on an Easter egg hunt at a zoo in Chile. Take care, and I'll see you next time.